Welcome to my classroom. This is Justin. Today I am going to talk about one-way ANOVA, the concept of one-way ANOVA, the manual calculation and other related things will be discussed in some other video, part 2 video. So now let us start with the example itself to explain the concept of ANOVA. So I am going to measure happiness of people here. So let us say this is a continuum. So I have happiness scores here, happiness. So happiness scores here low to high, and I'm taking 9 observations here. Okay, so 3 observations are from people, those who are married. Okay, these are 3 observations, more towards low side, and 3 observations are from the people who are divorced, married, divorced, and few observations are from people who are single. Okay, so I have some observations here. Now look at the observations. Some of them are very high score, some of them are very low score, and this data is, the values are scattered. See that scores are from, let us say the score could be something like 5, and this score could be somewhere like 47, something like that. Okay, just some random values. So scores are scattered from this end to this end. How do you understand the how much data is scattered? For that, the best measure is standard deviation or the square of standard deviation, which is variance. Okay. Now, what's the equation of variance? So let us say variance standard deviation square is each value. If you take this much scores, each value has to be subtracted with the mean of the values and square it, okay, and find out sum of this for each value and take the average of it. That's based on n minus 1. Now if you find out the square root of it, that's standard deviation, and if you square it without the square root, then it's a variance of the data, usual equation for variance. Now in this context, if you calculate the variance in this context, you will need the mean like this, mean value. That means you have 9 observations here, and you can calculate a mean, something like, let us say, somewhere in between. So this is my mean. Let us say this is my mean. Just plotting it. Okay. Now maybe let us say 20 something. This value doesn't have any importance here. Just explaining the concept in this context. Now, so this is a mean value. So this is a mean value. So what I would be doing is I would be subtracting each value from this mean. Okay, and I'll find out square of it. Then I'll find out n minus 1. And sorry, I'll sum this, and average of that one, n minus 1, would be my variance. Okay, now this upper part is called as sum of squares. So sum of squares means sum of squares of deviation. Deviation, that means the mean and each observation, that deviation, square of it and sum it. That's the sum of squares. Okay, and this part is a reflection of degree of freedom. Okay, let it be there. Okay, sum of squares divided by degree of freedom. That's variance in this context. Now, how do we graphically plot this? I'm going to call this particular value 20 as grand mean, GM, grand mean. Okay, fine. Now, what is this grand mean, this sum of squares observation? That means this much variation here, this much variation here, this much variation here. If you come to this values, this much, and this much. Here, I have value here, a score here, yeah. So what I would be doing is I will find out this much value, this value, this value, this value, this value, and all these values, and I will find out square of it divided by how many number, minus 1. So total sum of squares, total variance. So this much data is scattered if I take this 9 observation. Now let me ask a very simple, curious kind of question. Why this data is scattered like this? Now when I take the observation here, I find out that these observations has a pattern. These observation has a pattern. These observation has a pattern. That means this set of observations is highly deviated towards a negative side, low side from the center. These three observations are almost nearby the center itself, and these three observations are almost away from the center towards the right side. Now these three observations are actually as we explained, happiness scores of married people. So I'm going to call this as a married group. So this is M group, married group, and this group is actually divorced group, and this group is representing the single group. Okay, now when I look into the when I try to explain why there is a difference in this data, one reason that I get is maybe because they belong to these different groups. That means their marital status is the one of the reason for the changes in the data. Because see that this married man has very less happiness, divorced man has little more happiness, and this single man is really highly they are happy. So look at the pattern here. So if I take the entire variance, this particular variance, total variance, I'm going to call it as total variance then instead of variance, total variance. Total variance. Why total variance? Based on entire data, how much variance is there. So this total variance I'm going to explain based on one primary factor, that is the factor that I'm aware about, that is explained by, I would say, the reasons for this changes. I mean, reason for this much changes in the data is variance in the data is one reason is which can be explained by marital status, married, divorced, or single, like that. And if that is a condition, let us look into one particular group, that is married men. Okay, so men or women. So married people. Take this people. If the reason for low happiness is really the marital status, that means if you take one particular group, everyone should have same score itself, right? But look into these three members who are married, their happiness scores are varying. Why? I'm not aware about that reason. So I call this as unknown factors, or I'll call it as individual differences. Okay, now the question is why there is a changes in the data. That means what is the reason for this total variance? This is one factor is the explained factor, that means explained by marital status. Another reason is unknown factor, unknown factor, or we could say individual difference. Okay, so how do I understand how much is the factor that can be explained by the marital status? For that means explained factor. For that, what I do is I'll find an average of these three data. Okay, so if I take average of this data, this individual difference can be balanced. So I get a value something like this. Let us say this is my average value. So this point somewhere here. Okay, now I would say the score here, this much is due to marital status, and this much change is because of unknown factor. Okay, so this is because of the marital status. That means being a married person, this much variance is a reason for that, and this much is something not known. Maybe the family has a lot of issues, or they have some financial issues, something like that, but I'm not much aware about individual differences. So if I take this condition, this much is due to marital status, but this small difference here, see that this particular difference, this is because of unknown factor. And if I take this condition, again this much is due to marital status, and this small condition here, this is due to unknown factor. Okay, so I'm trying to understand how much can be explained, how much variance can be calculated or is explained using this particular reason, and how much leftover is this particular element. So condition here is I'm going to divide this total variance to two different parts. Okay, so total variance equal to which can be explained by the factor plus not explained. Okay, so how do I calculate this? It's variance, you have to use the same equation itself. So how do I calculate the variance of the known factor, that is Maxwell status? For that, here if I take one observation from the grand mean to the mean of the group, okay, say, and second observation from the grand mean and mean of the group, and the third observation from the grand mean and mean of the group. That means the value same, but three scores are there. That means you have identical values, three values, because there are three members in the group. So what I do, so that's for one group. Okay, and I have same condition here and the same condition here. So what I do to calculate this explained mean, this particular part, let's say explained variance, what I have to do is I have to look into the let us say mean. This is a married men mean, this is divorced men means, this is the single men mean. So married men mean, that is M minus grand mean, that means this much space. Okay, this is for one observation, second observation, third observation. So into 3. Okay, otherwise you write 1 3 times. Okay, plus the mean of the divorced people from the grand mean into 3, because I have 1 2 3 observation, plus, and I have the single members, their mean, that means somewhere here, and grand mean, that is this part, this gap. Okay, into 3. So this is the variance that we are explaining. That means x minus x bar all square. That means you add all this data, see that you add all this data, something like sigma value here, that means add all the scores here. So you will get the sum of squares, and you need to divide this value with the number of observations. So how many independent observations you have? You have one independent observation among these 3. Okay, now I mean this if you take the number of observation, it's actually one particular observation. That means this grand mean is one observation, you have second observation, you have third observation. Okay, so you have 3 observation here, and when you take degree of freedom, you will subtract one value from that. So that means let us say number of groups, 3 minus 1. Instead of that, I'm saying k, number of column or number of groups, k minus 1. Okay, k is very frequently, I don't know why the symbol k is given here. So some textbook has written like C, number of columns, because when you generally write give problems for the manual calculation, group 1 would be in one column, group 2 in another column, group 3 in another column. So some textbooks write C, number of columns or number of groups minus 1. So it's basically 3 observations are there. That means the deviation between mean of married group, mean of the divorced group, and mean of single. Let me clarify once again. The variance, see, the variance between the score, and the score. Okay, so you have 3 scores, and these are calculated because one score actually represents 3 values here, 3 amount of scores here. That's why I multiplied with the 3 and divide by k minus 1. K minus 1 means number of observations. That's a way in which I can find out explained variance. Now the next question is, how do I calculate the other part, the within the unexplained or individual difference variance? For that, let me take this example. Okay, so this is my group here, and assume that this is a mean that I have calculated. Okay, now somewhere here, like that's a value here, this is a mean that I have. Now what I'm going to do is how to calculate within group variance inside one particular group. So how much variance here, how much variance here, and how much variance here. See that? So if you take, as we consider the entire data, first 9 data, instead of that I'm going to take one group, that means 3 observations here. So what's the usual equation? So I would say this is S1, this is S2 and S3, single men 1, single men 2, single men 3. Okay, now the usual equation of the variance is this particular equation, where I would say the variance unexplained variance. Unexplained variance, once again I'm reminding, unexplained variance means variance due to individual differences. That means within a group why scores are different. That's the question that we are addressing. So that is equal to, if I take this group first, the observation 1 S1 minus the mean of the group, that means the mean of the group. Okay, and you have to square this data. Okay, and you have to find out the sum of this data. Okay, now I have missed a value here. Okay, I have to square it here. Sorry, because everywhere when you calculate the equation, you have to square the data. So I have to calculate the S1 minus the mean square of the data plus the S2, that is second observation, S2 minus the mean of the group plus again S3 minus mean of the group square. So I have added one group like this. Okay, now the same condition for the D group and the M group. So I'm just going to write like this. Okay, sum of the S values Si, I'm just going to write Si, which means S1, S2, S3 minus, that is single. Okay, oh, I have already written S, so I'm going to write D, divorced person, first person, second person, third person, Si minus mean of D, square of it, plus the sum of M, married people, I'm going to write I. Okay, minus mean of M, square of it. So what do I have now? The scores I have now is related to sum of squares, the upper part. Okay, now all the variances within each group. So variance within this group is this much, variance within this group is this much, and variance within this group is the last part like this. So I'm adding all the scores. Okay, so each group, how much within group variances are there in terms of sum of squares, that means sum of squares of deviation from the center, that has been calculated. Now I have to divide this value with some score. What is that score here? That is degree of freedom that I have to calculate. How many observations, based on that we can calculate it. That's degree of freedom concept. Now here, this particular section, see that, this particular section, this one is calculated based on 3 observations. So degree of freedom would be 3 minus 1. Okay, now if I take this section, this also 3 minus 1. If I take this D group, this also 3 minus 1. So basically, when you consider the degree of freedom, it is basically n minus 1, n minus 1 and n minus 1. You add all this degree of freedom. n1, 3, n2, 3, n3, that means third group. So 3, 3, 3, okay, minus 1, minus 1, minus 1. That means each group minus 1 will be subtracted. That is basically n1 plus n2 plus n3 minus 1, minus 1, minus 1 together. Okay, now this is basically 3, right? Okay, now what is this 3 indicates? 3 indicates 3 groups, right? What if you have 4 groups? You will have 4 values, 4 ones there, so that will be 4. That means this n is always, see that, this will be number of groups. The score will be number of groups. And what is n1 plus n2 plus n3? This is total sample size, that is 9. So I'll write like n minus k. So the degree of freedom here will be n minus k. Yeah. So this is degree of freedom. So this is how I can find out the individual differences variance, and this is how I can explain the variance due to the changes in the membership of different groups. That means being a married man, being a divorced man, being a single man, the differences, the variance due to the marital status. Okay, so this much is the score, this much is score, and the total variance is sum of explained and not explained. Now this is a total variance. The question was why scores are different, and I found out reason for for being different. I mean the scores being different, and I found out how much is the variance, how much difference can be explained by the marital status, and how much that can be explained by the individual differences, something other than the marital status. Now the question, what if I find out the ratio of the scores, like the explained factor, explained by marital status, and unexplained or individual differences? What if I find out a ratio of the score? And imagine a situation where explained factor is very high and individual differences are very low. See that? So that means when I take 9 people, the reason for being them different is majorly because they belong to some specific groups. Okay, not the individual differences among them. What if these two scores are almost same? I mean, assume that the total variance is, this is the total variance, right? The total variance is 30, in that 15 is due to explained and 15 is due to unexplained. Now, this means half of the variance is due to the individual difference, and other half can be explained by the variable that we have considered. Now, can we really rely on that one? That 15 also could be an indication of the random fluctuation like this. So I said, oh, not much. But what if you have 30 variance between this 9 data, in that around 25 is due to the membership in the group, and just 5 is based on the individual differences in the group. Now I said, hey, this is a very big number, right? Explained scores are really bigger compared to individual differences. So I can say that whatever explanation that I give here, the explanation may be due to the marital status. That is a considerable factor or considerable explanation, or it's a very good explanation. Now I say that, yeah, it's fine. I can make a judgment that the scores are, the difference in the scores due to marital status is a significant kind of difference. Okay, now this is a concept of ANOVA. Now, where is ANOVA here, right? In this context, we have not seen we have not heard the main terms of ANOVA now, but actually we have gone through the entire concept of ANOVA. Now, come back to what are the terms here. Now, let us say total variance is an entire variance here. That's a common thing that you have already heard about it. And what is this explained variance? Explained variance is a between group variance. That means if I take this group, okay, now this group, let us say average of the M is married men, happiness is, let us say 15, okay, and this average of this the divorced men is, let us say it is around 17, and this score is around, let us say 35. Now I have 3 scores here, 15, 17, 35. The variance among these 3 scores are between group variance, and this is same as the explained variance. Okay, now within each group, how much data is scattered plus how much data scattered plus how much data scattered, this is unexplained variance, or we call it as due to individual difference, this is called as within group variance. That means within this group plus within this group and within this group. Okay, now this is an indicator of a fluctuation in the data. Now what we have done here is a ratio which is between group variance divided by within group variance, this is F value. Okay, we have calculated sum of squares and divide by degree of freedom. Here sum of squares divided by degree of freedom, sum of squares divided by degree of freedom. See that? So this is a concept of ANOVA. I think this is hiding me, but it's fine. So this is a concept of ANOVA. We are trying to find out whether among the total variance when you collect the data, whether the explanation for this total variance or a bigger chunk of the total variance can be attributed to this between group variance, or the major chunk of explanation is due to within group variance. If the major amount of difference is due to between group variance and a very few element is due to within group variance, then we say that it's a very good kind of observation. Okay, now what is F here? F is something like a distribution score, F like a T distribution. So what we would be doing is we draw the F distribution. Sorry, it shouldn't be a F distribution like that. F distribution is basically a positively skewed data starting from 0. Okay, unlike the T distribution, which is more like a leptocurtic curve, not skewed data. And if the scores are really high, the T distribution tend to be normal curve. Here in general, F distribution tend to be positive, F value tend to be positive, and you don't have this side and this side as in the t-test. Here what we are going to do is we get a F value here, so somewhere here, and you will see what is the area under this one. That also can be calculated, something same as the T distribution itself. So T distribution and F distribution are little different in terms of its structure. All F values will be positive. It is positively skewed data. Curve is positively skewed, and you don't have both ends to decide here. You have just one end to decide whether there's a difference in the data. Okay, yeah, that's about the F value. So what I'm going to do in the next video would be how this is calculated in a very formal structure. But make sure that you watch this video before you attend my next class on how to manually calculate the F scores. So bye from my classroom. See you in the next video.